ABA. I'm a BCBA.
And I'm a BCABA.
And we're millennials in ABA. Today we're going to be talking about the coronavirus, not only how it's affecting the world, but how it affects our field.
What is the coronavirus, or COVID-19, or COVID-19, or however you're supposed to say it?
Comment down below and let us know.
COVID-19 is the infectious disease caused by the most recently discovered coronavirus. And this new virus and disease were unknown before the outbreak began in Wuhan, China in December of 2019.
So what are some symptoms to look out for, whether you're doing in-home therapy, whether you're doing clinic-based therapy, or even if you're at the store doing groceries? So some of the common symptoms are dry cough, fever, tiredness, difficulty breathing, runny nose, sore throat, nasal congestion, aches, pains. These symptoms are usually mild and begin gradually. So some people may become infected and not know it right away. You're probably not going to feel unwell right away. So that's one thing to keep out for.
Yes, and sometimes people don't even show symptoms at all. How can COVID-19 be spread? So you can spread it from person to person through small droplets from either the nose or the mouth. So from sneezing or coughing, spitting. A lot of our kids, they like to spit or lick, or they like to mouth things, and you won't even know it. And then you'll just pick up the toy that little Timmy just slobbered all over, and then you pick it up. So it's important to understand that this disease can be spread by those kinds of particles. The World Health Organization states that it's important to stay more than 1 meter, which is 3 feet, away from other people who are sick.
The main question is, should ABA services be delivered during the coronavirus outbreak?
So there is no right or wrong answer, but in our opinion, no.
No.
So based off all of the CDC's recommendations, we should be staying at least 1 meter away from people. We should we should be social distancing. We should be staying away from large groups. We shouldn't be sharing common areas such as bathrooms, kitchens, etc.
Some of the common arguments out there are that we work with the low-risk population because they're children, or that some of the providers in this field are younger. So while we're not at risk for complications, it's important to think about the fact that we can still get the virus, and that means we can still spread it. And so while we may be okay in the long run, we may be spreading it to those who we love that might not be. And that includes like grandparents who are at higher risk, or those who have pre-existing conditions. It's really important to not be selfish during this time and think about how our actions can affect our community as a whole. Because right now we're facing a world issue.
It's a pandemic. That's the whole world.
While our opinion is that anyone who provides ABA services should immediately stop to avoid spreading this virus, we do understand that there are centers out there and providers who do in-home that will not be shutting down, will not be closing, whether it be for business reasons or because they feel like it's more beneficial to still provide services to their clients. We understand that. We wanted to give some tips for those of you who are still providing services in the midst of this chaos, and hopefully you guys can find them valuable.
Number 1, if you are a provider that you have a clinic and you also offer in-home services, we recommend that you put in-home services on hold and that you only do services in a clinic, just because at a clinic you can control the sanitization because you're the one doing it and you're the one monitoring it. But if you're going to a client's home, then you can never really be totally sure whether they are sanitizing properly or not, and therefore you're going to put yourself at risk.
Number 2, if you are in a clinic-based setting, you should cease all group activities, depending on your location and how big you may be. If you have separate therapy rooms, great. If not, every kid should have their own area. Eliminate activities in your schedule that include circle time, social skills, lunch. Lunch should be eaten at their separate areas. Circle time should cease for the time being. Not to say that these activities can't still take place, especially social skills being super important, but they should only take place with the therapist that they're working with rather than in a group setting with other kids, as we cannot control when one child might sneeze on another or cough or in general, the CDC just recommends that we are not in close proximity with other people.
Number 3, shut down community areas. So if you have a sensory room, if you have a cafeteria, if you have a playroom, it's best to completely close those down and only allow your clients to be in their individual areas, just because the virus can spread in communal spaces.
Number 4, waiting rooms. If you have parents that come into the waiting room, or you have waiting protocols that you're running with clients, these should cease for the time being. It is very important that we don't congregate in any kind of setting, whether it's in the waiting room, if you have multiple parents and multiple clients coming in and out at the same time and just waiting around. This is how the virus can spread. It is very important that you change your arrival and dismissal routines. When parents come to drop off their child, make sure that therapists are just picking up the child, going straight to their room or their area that you've designated for them. It's important that there isn't too much traffic occurring at the entrance.
Number 5, take temperatures consistently throughout the day. So maybe every 30 minutes, every hour. Sometimes kiddos will come in and they'll feel fine, and an hour later they have a temperature of 103. So it's important to consistently be monitoring their temperatures, because fever is one of the landmark symptoms of this virus.
Number 6, it is very important that during this time we're limiting contact between therapists and clients, which means if you're a clinic that switches between clients and therapists, you should eliminate this. And it is very important that only one therapist works with one child. Therefore, if you have a morning and afternoon schedule, consider perhaps eliminating your afternoon schedule, or working out a schedule that works so that every client still receives services, but they're only seeing one therapist. This will definitely help eliminate any spread of the virus that could occur.
And number 7,
wash your hands, please.
Please wash your hands, wash your kids' hands. Now's not the time to focus on having them wash their hands perfectly by themselves. Make sure that they are washing their hands for at least 20 seconds, and that they are using soap and they're really scrubbing, because they're probably not going to do that by themselves. So help them wash their hands, and wash your hands at least every 30 minutes and before you do anything.
And one of the things you can do at your center, or in general, just at home as well, is that make a schedule for yourself. Set an alarm, set a timer. Just wash your hands every 30 minutes, every hour. You don't know how many things our hands come in contact with in such little time, especially when you're working with children. They throw themselves on the floor, they're playing with toys, they put their hands in their nose, they put their hands in their mouths. So just make sure that you have a system set up for your staff in which they're washing their hands regularly. We really wanted to make this video to talk to you viewers that are just like us. So BCBAs, BCABAs, RBTs, those that are in the front lines, because there are not a lot of people like us talking about what comes next. And the reality is that it's not really in our control. Unless you're a business owner, you don't really have a say in whether the organization or company you work for closes.
So we wanted to open this discussion because, like she was saying, there's not a lot of talk about this between people like us who are actually working directly with the people that could have the virus. So, what do we do when all of the schools around us are closed through the end of next month, but we're still open? We want to hear from you. We want to hear from other people in our field. Is this right? Should we all be closing down?
Is this ethical? Everyone stay safe, and as always, stay on your best
or worst behavior.